Hey, so I'm also sitting next to, in addition to his name dropping skills, like a pretty good, pranker, and
Mm,
he enjoyed a good clubhouse laugh. So I would say maybe, if not the best, it's one of the most legendary pranks of all time. You know what I'm talking about? The
yep.
Kyle Kendrick story, which is, perfect for this crowd on Legends territory that also, sometimes is a younger crowd that might not remember the story or have heard of it before. It was in
Right.
2008. So I'll let you tell it and give us anything that we didn't know
Well,
about it.
so I got approached by um, Comcast about they wanted to prank somebody, and I was like, I don't know why, but they picked me, and I mean, I guess I probably was the right guy because I goof around and stuff and have a good time, but I was like, me and Madsen were probably the guys that would do it best. Well, Madsen didn't want any part of it, so I was like, well, Kendrick was my locker mate, and he's just so green, so gullible, just believe anything, man. And so they were like, do you have anybody in mind to do this to? And I was like, yeah, Kendrick will be the guy that for sure I can do this and to. And so it was just, it took me probably 2, 3 weeks to plan it out because I had to get the GM on board, the traveling secretary. And then I had the GM call his agent because I'm like, the first person he's going to call is his agent. And and I didn't put together like who he got traded for, like all the documents and stuff was all the GM and the traveling secretary. Like they came up with everything. Like it made it look real as shit. Like I didn't know all that was going on. I just had the storyline together, tried to put things in place, and they took it a little bit step further, I guess, to make it that good. Like Charlie was in on it. Like they all like all they knew about all that stuff. So the paperwork stuff was all what Ruben and Charlie and the Frank Kopenbarger, traveling secretary, did, and so like who we got traded to and all that they all came up with that stuff. So like the day came of it going down, and they did it all and like that. We were just trying to play it off. I don't think I told anybody in the clubhouse what was happening either. So they were all surprised by it too. Like I kept it pretty tight to my chest to not let the cat out of the bag. And of course, the first thing he does is he calls his agent after, and his agent says, "Yes, it's true." And then come to find out down like the next day or so, when he found out it wasn't true, it was bullshit. He fired his agent. From what I heard, I was like, "Oh man, now I feel bad for the agent or whatever like that." But hey, man, you got to play a game. And then it blew up like it was crazy. I had everybody calling me when they released the video of it and everything, and I thought it was just going to be a little skit or something for people in Philly or something to see us having fun or whatever like that. Next thing you know, we're on Good Morning America and everything, and I'm like, was it really that good? Like I wasn't quite sure, but I mean, it dangster took a lot of planning and a lot of timing, a lot of time to try to put the steps together. But he fell for that too easy. I thought he was going to cry, and I didn't know how long before I could tell him that we were just kidding. I wanted it to go on as long as I could, I guess, but it just he. I thought he was going to cry, man. Like the media found out about it that day. They knew it. They knew it was fake. Um, like when they asked him about going to Japan and stuff like that, and they knew it was fake at that point. So it was like I had to say something to him that he got punked. Or yeah, it was I read an article, like I'm buddies with him. I talked to him, a lot and everything like that. But I read an article a few years ago that he was still pissed off about it. I'm like, dude, like, come on, man! It's one of the greatest pranks ever. I know you look stupid on it, but people are always going to remember your name now.
Dude, it was brilliant.
Dude, I
It
played
was
with him.
brilliant. It was viral before viral was a thing.
2015 or 2016 with the Braves. He was in spring training with us, and we had dinner one night, and I asked him about it. And he laughed about it, but there was still some bitterness in there. But
he fired his agent over it.
I can't believe. Yeah, why do you fire your agent? Like your agent, that doesn't make it. Like, why would you fire your agent?
His agent made him like Brett said. That everybody contributed to Kyle elevating his name. Like it. Yeah, his name is more of a thing in baseball.
Dude, he's a great guy too, man. I feel bad. Now once I got to know him, I'm like, man, this.
Yeah, he is a good guy.
How did you fall for that? Because they like traded him for like
so
a hot dog or something. Wasn't it? It was like a,
Yeah.
it was
Well,
like,
they like kind of like sold his
Kobayashi.
rights. How did you guys?
yeah.
Oh, right. You said
They traded him for
Kobayashi.
Kobayashi,
That's right.
the hot dog eater.
Yeah, exactly.
How is that even a thing? Wait. Give me more context here. So,
It's not a thing. You can't get traded to Japan. So it's like he did, but he didn't know that. But I'm telling you, it was his maybe he was just going in, maybe his second year, or he got called up the past year, and then this was going to be his first full season or something like that. And he came up and he pitched well for us. And then that spring training, they're like, yeah, we're going to trade you to the Yomiuri Giants or some shit like that in Japan. And I had to tell him at the end he got traded for a hot dog eater because he was a baby, like he's like 20 something years old, and he from Washington State. I'm like, so like he probably hasn't had much like street smarts going on, so he was not. It was the perfect candidate at the time. There was anybody else would have saw through that. They had to, they would have, but not him, because he would just believe. He would believe whatever he was trying to soak up all the big league atmosphere type thing and learn as much as he could. Well, I guess he learned not to trust me anymore.
I would not be able to say with a straight face that you got traded for the hot dog eating champ, because
I don't know how Charlie got through that. I don't know how Charlie got through it, man.
What does that even mean? Like I would.
But they didn't say the hot dog eating champ in the thing. He just said he got traded for Kobayashi. They didn't say
they didn't say the hot dog part.
Yeah, no. You got traded for Kobayashi to the Giants.
Yeah,
and his face was priceless. He was just like, he turned white as a ghost. And he's like, oh, what?
The best thing was like the traveling secretary had the itinerary set up and everything with like times and dates, like when he needed to be at the airport and all that other stuff. I'm like, oh my God, this is going just the way I planned it, just the way I wanted it to go. Like, it was so believable. Honestly, I would have believed it too, the way it was put together, man.
Wait, were you in the room?
Like, no.
Were you actually in the office?
No, the cameras were kind of hiding outside the door. I had no part of it. When they were doing that stuff, we didn't even know I knew he was in there, but I didn't know how it was going until I saw the video. Like when I saw the video, when they released it the next day, my phone started ringing at like 6 o'clock in the morning saying, oh my God, what the hell? This is the funniest shit I've ever seen. And I'm going, what are you talking about? I didn't know. All they did, I think, released it on YouTube and played it back in Philly. And then next thing I know, like Good Morning America's at the field. Me and him are having to sit next to each other and talk about what went down and everything. And he's just pissed off the whole damn time. And I'm sitting there laughing my ass off. And I said, let me know when Victorino comes around, because he was the pie guy. I'm like, he's going to be showing up here in a second to pie me on TV or whatever to, I guess, get me back or something. But damage was already done.
Dude, that was early viral days too. Like you mentioned YouTube. Yeah, it was put up there. Like YouTube started in 05. It really, gained popularity more in like 06. Mm-hmm. So, and this is 08. Like this is early virality. Yeah. This is not, like if this happened now to that extent and the way that you guys played it up. I mean, there have been pranks, but that was just so perfectly orchestrated. I don't think you guys realized how well that you pulled it off, which included, picking the right person.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't even know, like I'm saying, going viral and how it went crazy. Like, there's people that still send it to me on videos, like on, Instagram and stuff like that. They'll be like, "Oh, this is still hilarious," and I'm just like, "What? Like, what the heck, man?" Like, I mean, it's not. I think it's funny, but it's still, people still think it's funny, and they're just now seeing it. They're like, "Oh my God, you did this!" I'm like, "Yeah, I did that 15 years ago, man." like you just now seeing it. That's kind of crazy. So.
Well, you've got a whole generation now of younger fans that have never heard of it before,
Yeah. I guess the point of, like, I don't think that people understood is that you couldn't get traded to Japan. So it wasn't like it was an actual trade thing. You can't get traded to Japan. So at the time, so I was like, I thought people would see through that, but they didn't. And it worked out perfectly.
That is freaking nuts.
Hey, Brett, speaking of pranks or things that went wrong in